to do some air layering today. Working on a dogwood tree. So got a few tools here that we use for air layering. Picked out a branch and we're going to do several trees. I'm going to start on this branch right here, and I've got a razor knife here, and we're going to make a few cuts. So what we're going to do is we're going to go around the tree, cutting the bark, and then we're going to come about an inch, that's probably about an inch, maybe a tiny bit more, and we're going to go around the tree again. So I've cut through the bark, and then I'm going to make one cut like right here, just between the two cuts that I had just previously made, and lift this bark. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes a little harder. It seems to be lifting pretty good. So we're getting separation there. That's nice. And then next we're going to, got a little bit more here to do, we're going to clean off the rest of the cambium layer. The cambium layer is that green that you see just under the bark, and that provides, that's where the sap flows up, and the life of the tree goes from the roots up north. So I'm going to do a little bit of scraping here as well, get that little bit of bark off, and get the rest of that cambium layer off. If you leave enough of it, there can be enough life that this branch keeps growing. And what you want is for this branch to actually appear to die, or to think it's dying. And what it's going to do is it's going to put roots out at this point that I'm pointing with the knife right here at the bottom. So, and we'll be going through the rest of the process here in just a minute. But so important to get all the cambium layer off. Again, we're killing this upper branch, but it's going to think, because it's going to be struggling, it's going to put roots out right here, and then we'll be able to cut this off. This time of year in the spring, early summer, you could get roots as early as 6 to 8 weeks. So now we're going to go to the next phase. So I've got some hormone compound here that I'm going to dab onto the cut, and this will promote root growth. So okay, now on to the next step. So I've got a handful of sphagnum moss, and it's a special moss, and these for lining baskets that flowers go into, flower baskets. Same type, so it's kind of thread-like, but it holds moisture. So I've been soaking it, and I'm going to squeeze out excess water. It's still going to be good and damp, but I don't want it overly wet. Could possibly cause more rotting of that limb than we'd want. So I think I've got, I don't know, out of there. So I've got some plastic wrap. It's this is just off of a plastic garbage bag. So anything will work in the area of clear plastic. Doesn't have to be really expensive. And we're going to wrap this this limb up with the sphagnum moss. Put it all the way around. And then I'm going to take the plastic and wrap it around the limb. So we've created an airtight area inside the plastic with the sphagnum moss, and with that moisture in there and the rooting hormone, the idea is that roots will grow directly into that sphagnum moss, and then as soon as it's rooted, and after a bit of time, we can cut this branch off right here, and we'll have this new tree that'll have better caliper. And you do this with pretty large limbs too, so large or small. So I've got one tie there, and I'm gonna grab another tie and put it around the top. Get that pretty tight, and I can put another one right there. I think I will. Just like to keep a little bit of pressure there so that the moss is in good contact with the cut that we made. There it is. So a nice tight plastic and the moss around the cut, and in a few weeks, 4, 6, 8 weeks, we'll have we'll check that. We'll come back and check that, and we'll have roots growing in here, hopefully, and we'll have a new tree starting right here. So we've gone around the property, and we've done we talked about air layering, and we just completed one, but we've done a number of air layers around the property. So we've got a beech tree here that's quite large, and we picked out a branch, and we've this one's been air layered about 2 weeks ago. So hopefully in a couple more weeks this starts to root out, and you can see it's tied off at the bottom of the top, and it's got its damp sphagnum moss around where we cut off the bark or peel the bark back, and so we're looking to get a pretty good size tree out of this branch right here. So I'm standing next to Dogwood. It has the name wolf eyes, and it gets its name from the way the leaf is shaped, and it does have variegation on it too, with the creamy white edge and light green inside, but the leaf starts to that hangs down on the end of the branch there, and looks like a sad eye, but a wolf eyes is what it's called. So we've done an air layer or two on this one here, and it's in bloom right now. It's hard to see. There's filled with flowers, but it's almost hard to see them, but they're kind of a lime green or a soft green color. So we air layered another dogwood, variegated giant dogwood. Giant dogwood doesn't get real big, but anyway, here's our air layer. I put it right at the top, and so it'll be a nice tree once we cut this off, with some caliper to it. Not huge caliper, but it'll be bigger than it would take years if we tried growing this from a cutting or a graft and grafted it. So anyway, that's another one of our air layers. So this is a hornbeam, which are very nice shade tree, nice leaves, disease-resistant tree. And so we picked out a pretty good-sized branch here that goes, out a ways, and we've got an air layer started right at where I'm pointing right there. I hope you liked the video that we've just done on air layering, and you might wonder how long I've been doing this. Well, this is actually the first time I've ever done it, so it's something that you could definitely try on your own. You just need the simple tools that we've used, a knife and the sphagnum moss and the ties, the powder like the Hormex or one of the rooting hormone powders, or liquid. It comes in liquid as well. So we're going to be checking back on these trees in another month or so. Now, I'll be checking them more often than that, but hoping to have another video to show you how the roots are doing, and then be cutting it off and planting these as a little more mature trees than just a regular seedling with some nice branching on it. So don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks again.